You can add and update your HMRC details on the HMRC Settings page. This can be accessed via the Payroll Settings tab, which is found here or here. The HMRC Settings page is found under the Business Settings section here. The information on this page is used when submitting your RTI, real-time information, to HMRC. The first thing you need to add is the Employer PAYE reference number. This is a unique two-part reference number. You can then add your Accounts Office reference number here. This is a code consisting of 13 characters. It will be shown on the letter you received from HMRC when you first registered as an employer. The Small Employers Allowance. This is where you add whether or not you are eligible for the Small Employers Allowance. If so, you will need to add the year you're claiming for. When you tick the box for the relevant year, a pencil icon will appear. Click on this and a context box will appear on the right-hand side, where you can add more detail regarding your claim. This detail includes whether or not you've claimed the employment allowance in another payroll product in this tax year. You can also choose the date you would like the claim to be effective from. Here you can select which state aid sector you operate in. It's important to note that you should only tick the State Rules Do Not Apply box if you do not engage in economic activity. For example, if you run a charity or employ someone to provide personal care. The final option here is whether or not you would like to include the allowance in your journals. Once you've completed this, press Save. Below the Small Employers Allowance is the Apprenticeship Levy. Just select Yes if you are required to pay this. You will then be asked a couple more options which you can complete below. If the IR35 legislation applies to your business, select the Yes option here. If not, just select No. The Additional Options section here. This is where you add whether or not you will be paying any seconded employees. Will you be paying employees from a registered pension scheme? Unless you are a registered pension scheme and you're using your payroll to pay out pension pots to your employees, this section should be set to No. Do not use this setting if you're an employer with a regular pension scheme. You have the option here to set up a payment reminder. If you select Yes, a new context box will appear where you can configure this to suit your preferences. You can choose to make the payment period monthly or quarterly. If you're a small employer that expects to pay less than £1,500 a month, you can arrange to pay HMRC quarterly. This next field is where you can select the date you'd like the reminder to be sent. Next, you can select whether or not you would like a detailed monthly breakdown. You can also choose whether or not you would like to include pay-run pension amounts. The email. This is where you add the email address of the person you'd like to receive the payment reminder. You can also add their name here, although this is optional. If you do add a name, this will be used to address the recipient on the payment reminder email when it is generated. To add another recipient, simply click on the Add Recipient link here. To delete a recipient, click on the bin icon to the right of the name. If you would like to see what the payment reminder email looks like, click on the View Email Example link here. This will provide a sample of the email the recipient will receive. When you're happy with your settings, press Save. You have the option here to enable RTI for your business. If you'd like to do so, select Yes. You'll need to enter your HMRC user ID and your HMRC password. These are known as your HMRC Government Gateway details. It's worth noting these should be manually typed in and not copy and pasted. The next option here, would you like to make RTI submissions in test mode for this business? This functionality is provided by HMRC to validate submissions against their live services without the submissions filtering through to the rest of their back-end systems. Essentially, it can be used to make sure HMRC is happy with the details you've added into the HMRC settings screen in the system. If you choose Yes here, pay runs can be lodged, but we will receive a generic notification from HMRC with a non-filing notice. A pay run lodged in test mode will only be validated by HMRC and not processed through their systems. When you're ready to submit your real-time information to HMRC, you can come back to this page, change the setting to No. The last option here is the Business a Registered Agent. If you click the blue icon, this will link to a HMRC page with further information on this question. The last option here is in relation to your EPS submissions. You can choose to submit your Employee Payment Summary, or EPS, monthly or on a date of your choice. Just select the date from the drop-down field here. You also have the option to choose not to submit it automatically in this field too. If you choose to submit your EPS monthly automatically, you'll need to add the refund account name here, the account number and also the sort code, as well as the Building Society reference if applicable. Once you're happy with these settings, you can press Save. If you choose not to submit your EPS automatically each month, you can submit it manually by going to the EPS report by clicking on the blue text here. This will then load up the EPS report. You can choose the relevant tax year from the drop-down box here and then press Run Report. To submit your EPS manually, click on Submit EPS. This will load up a context window here where you have a few further options to run through. You can select no payments for the period, or highlight a period of inactivity, as well as marking the EPS as the final EPS for the tax year. Once you're happy with your settings, you can click the blue Submit EPS icon here. And that's it, the HMRC settings page.